This pre-season tour here of the States is brought to you by Oxford Natural and Gowan Loud, your friends.
Oxford Natural.
And I tell you what,
yes.
They are not playing about, you are not playing about.
No.
You can scan the QR code on the screen to get 70% off.
Do it now. I'm optimized.
Yes, people, Manchester United have won the Snapdragon Cup. Some would say we're collecting 2 trophies in a week.
Some would say you love Arsenal.
Some would say that's a cup double already in the bag this season. And the more sensible people will break down the game about what we saw this afternoon against Fiorentina. Yeah, I expected a lot more. Man. That was some boring football, and it didn't give the vibes that I needed it to give in terms of being ready for Arsenal. We know it's pre-season. We know people don't want to get injured. He's like, what's happening? Nice one, brother. Nice one. I'll catch up with you in 2 seconds. Yeah, it didn't give me the vibe that we're absolutely ready to go for Arsenal. I didn't see the attackers' intent as I would have liked. There were still some silly mistakes there at the back. And listen, pre-season is pre-season, but you want to, especially with the last game going into Arsenal, that's where you want to see that moment of intent, especially at home in front of our fans. We definitely played better on tour. The main thing is that there's no injuries. Well, actually, Aiden Heaven, he looked like he had a little bit of a problem, so hopefully he's all right. But overall, there wasn't there. If I look at individuals, I look at what we put out there today was Matheus Cunha up front. Actually, and even Mason Mount actually was up front in the first half. Second half, we went with Mbumo up front as well. Not really much happening there. I have to say, Matheus Cunha today particularly, he wasn't his best. He's got to get going again as well. He gave the ball away. I counted like 4 or 5 times in one phase of play, and the highlight for me was him sort of tracking back to win the ball. But to be honest, he's got work to do. The whole team's got work to do. The whole team's got work to do, and it just shows us everything. We can get excited, you can enjoy, you can want to get excited, but when you see the team play, you realise the things that are missing. You realise things that are missing. Mbumo and Cunha are going to take time to get going. Benjamin Sesko's just walked through the door. We're all expecting him to do bits against Arsenal, but he's going to need a whole week's training, and let's be honest, he'll probably be on the bench. So you don't want to be playing catch-up straight away. But I was just disappointed with a lot of the attacking play that I saw today. It was a little bit disjointed at times. It was like we tried to play in like the final 10 minutes. The fact that Harry Maguire was the one who got the crowd going with I think that probably the only shot on target, that just shows you what type of game it was. In the second half, should I say. Actually, Matheus Cunha had a shot saved just wide of the post as well with David De Gea. First, and even the way we begun the game, look at the goal we conceded. Set piece, two Florentina players free, just poor. All right, good to get back into the game, with a header of our own from a corner, but in open play, I didn't see enough. Now, that could be for a number of things. It could be because, all right, we're trying to just make sure we kind of go through the gears to get to the Arsenal game. But also, I look at it and I go, I ain't being funny. There's a lot of the same stuff still there, and we need to wait for the improvement to be. But we ain't got time like that. You know what I'm saying? We've got to start on the front foot against Arsenal. If we play that against Arsenal, we'll get turned over. But then again, you know what I'm saying? Look, Arsenal lost 3-2 in the last game. They play again tonight. It is pre-season. You can't look too much at the results. But I'm just talking about the performance. I saw some bad habits in there. I saw a little bit of lethargy in there, a little bit of just waiting for things to happen rather than making things happen. It was interesting that Rasmus Hojlund was an unused substitute the week before the Premier League opener here at Old Trafford. That's very telling. If we're being honest, that's like, Rasmus, see you later. Rasmus, you're off. Rasmus, you're going to be going, because it's like a Sir Jim thing of like, you know what? Don't even risk him. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to lie, I saw Rasmus basically doing Pilates on the side, bro. He had one leg out that way, one arm out that way, fully warming up like he was going to get on and get active, and he was an unused sub. So I think that speaks wonders and speaks volumes about where his position in the team is. We've heard all the rumours about him, moving on from the club this summer and being told that, he might need a loan, etc., etc. And when you're getting 0 minutes in a game like that against Florentina, that's supposed to be the curtain raiser, or the game before the curtain raiser next week, that shows that the future's not really going to be with you, with pretty much everyone else coming on ahead of you. And Bumo did have some nice touches. You can see what he kind of brings. He keeps the ball really well. He kept shooting and getting blocked, but the end product wasn't quite there. But I can see what he brings. The right-hand side with Ahmad, I needed a little bit more. He kept getting into some good positions, but the end product wasn't really there. Dorgu did look quite strong. Again, there was a couple of flashes of play, but it just wasn't enough. I wanted to see it be a little bit more fluid, like it was on tour, to be fair. But overall, because we have to talk about overall what pre-season has been, it's been a successful pre-season. Have we seen an improvement in the team in pre-season? Yeah, I'm gonna say we have. I'm gonna say we have seen an improvement. Have we seen us play with more urgency, more intensity in America? Yes, we have seen that. Did it transpire to here against Fiorentina? No. But I do think there was a little bit of a thing of like, just kind of get through this, man. We got Arsenal next. But you have to be careful with that. You have to be careful, because a lot of the type of play that I was seeing today, if you pull up with that next week, Sunday against Arsenal, it's going to be a long afternoon. I did like when Kobbie Mainoo came on. I thought he was good on the ball. He had some nice touches. I like what he was doing there. Can he force his way into this team as a mainstay in central midfield? What central midfielder are we going to get if one after Benjamin Sesko? So there's still a lot of work to be done there. And we know what the pressure's going to be, man. There's nowhere to hide with this thing. So overall, I'm going to say it's been a very positive pre-season. Overall, we haven't had any big injuries from pre-season. I hope that there's no reports after this that there is a big injury. I saw Aiden Heaven sort of holding his hip. Other than that, I think he'll be okay. We should be fine. Actually, it's interesting that Joshua Zirkzee hasn't kicked the ball all the way through pre-season. Wasn't in the squad again today. So I'm looking at Joshua Zirkzee and I'm like, he's massively behind, because he got injured against Newcastle, got fit to make an appearance against Spurs in the final, and then he's been injured again ever since and hasn't managed to keep going. Mason Mount, actually, I want to give him some praise, actually, because Mason Mount is someone who's coming from massive criticism, rightly so. He's been injured ever since he got here. And actually, this is probably the longest period in his 2 years that he's been fit for. And he's been good the back end of last season, even though the whole team was poor and we saw what happened in Bilbao. He was good in pre-season. And I think he was probably out of the bar being quite low, he was probably one of the brightest sparks today as well. So Mason Mount is he in line to start against Arsenal? I mean, the only thing I'm worried about is we're probably going to, clearly Rasmus is not part of it, we're probably going to go with Matheus Cunha up front against Arsenal, which you're not getting the most out of him there, and he didn't have a good game today as well. Listen, he needs time. He's a brand new signing, but overall across the tour, I'll be real. I wanted a little bit more from Cunha. I'm not going to lie, but hopefully he can deliver on the stage against Arsenal and just be ready for it. In there's going to be absolutely rocking. Everyone's going to be on it. It's Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter whether we're 15th or it's the first game of the season. We're going to be on it, man. So Mainoo, can he be pushing for a start? Ugarte got limited minutes today. Is there something in that as well? I'm not really sure. I want to see Casemiro starting against Arsenal. So we go from there, man. Smash a like on the video. Ready for the season to go again, man. We're ready to do this all again. Yes, it starts now. Peace.